Well, another video. So getting a bit more complete on the first dry build, so just run you through some of the additions. So carbs have gone on. I've got a number of these intakes to try, but these seem to be the best fitting ones, and these are the ones which were actually bolted to the heads when I got my hands on it. So this carb is roughly in the right position, but as you can see, very close to the frame here, fairly close to the engine there, but this lovely wee cutout in the fiberglass tank is intended for the front carb throttle cable, and that basically lines up. It is where it should be. Have a look at the other carb, which is a bit closer. So that is basically touching the frame rail there, with his modified little shorty bell mouths on, and also on this bracket around the back there. We are very, very close to the float bowl and the fuel supply. So I'm not sure what that bracket is for yet, so maybe that bracket might be able to disappear. We'll have to see. So any other changes are shocking, I know. Just clears the carb, but that's good enough. That shock's only going to move in an upward arc from here, it's not going to move down. Obviously I haven't set the ride height or anything, need the wheels on to do that, so that's your ride height adjuster, and that's your rebound damping adjuster. No compression adjusting on this shock. No remote reservoir neither, but that's alright. Rear sets are in place. These were a bit of a prick to fit. I had to basically work on the diameter of the pegs here, so that these nylon bushes in here would rotate nice and freely. And then yet again the quality of this kit strikes. So you'll see 3 cap head screws in there, so these 2 plates can rotate independently of each other and then be fixed in position, and that's so when you get your linkage rod onto here going to your gear shaft here, that you can then play about with that position to get the height of the gear shift where you want it. But yeah, the quality issue is that, say if you get this screw in here, you cannot get the opposite screw in on this side because the holes don't line up. Now, I don't think that's intentional. I don't think it's like a vernier scale or anything, because the adjustment would be so fine you wouldn't need that on your racing boot. So I just think that that's just poor quality again, which is surprising because these look like they've been NC machined. And on the other side we've got virtually the same thing. No idea where this is supposed to go. These brackets are obviously for your rear brake master cylinder. I haven't got one at all. I did sell one which was off the Panther road bike. What I did, it was part of the swap for the power valve engine, but I didn't want to use it anyway because it was pretty shitty, pretty cruddy, 1980s heavy. So I will be basically seeing what I can get to fit there. Hopefully a Brembo master cylinder, which is what I use on the Z actually, and on the Desert Sled, and on the P&M. So you can get a second-hand one decent off eBay for about 25 quid. I think that's the mounting centers for it, so I'll get one, and then I'll have to design and make up a actuation rod so we can get this in the right position. Obviously swing arm in. I haven't got any seals in there obviously, and it will have to be shimmed so we can get the tyre lined up with the front tyre. And also, it's quite a way off yet, but I can't really set the position of the swing arm laterally in the engine until we have the rear wheel in, gearbox all built up, sprocket on the output, so that we can get the chain lined up, get the swing arm lined up, get the two wheels lined up so everything's in a straight line. But that's a way off yet. That'll be on dry build number 2 or 3. So what I've got to do next is I've just ordered a load of bearings online for all the bearings and bushes in the crankcases. Haven't ordered any for the heads yet because that's sort of stage 2 of the engine build. And also I've ordered some taper head race bearings, established the right size to go in here and there, and then we can get the front forks on, front wheel on, rear wheel in, have a look how it sits. But pretty pleased so far, it's looking good. There's going to be some issues with this tank fit. I haven't quite worked out how it's supposed to fit, but it doesn't back here, and it doesn't back there because I've put a rubber here just for the moment between the frame rail and the tank to stop the frame chafing the tank away, which on a fiberglass tank will mean you get a leak pretty quickly. So that really has to be there, although it doesn't look like the tank has been designed particularly well to fit, because that hole is supposed to line up with the threaded hole there in the frame, and it doesn't. It's about 10mm off. So I'm going to have to come up with a plan for that. Maybe try and get this tank sitting a bit further forward, maybe with just a strip of foam tape or something rather than the rubbers. And tank doesn't sit that well on the frame, especially towards the rear. We've got a big gap in there. To me this looks like it should be sitting further down in the frame, and hence the gap back here, but it's not a major, it can all be sorted out. Plenty of clearance underneath for a shock, because the shock is obviously going to rise up as the rear wheel moves up. Looks like we've just got enough clearance on our cam covers, hopefully. But that is very, very tight. I'll see if I can get a better angle on it. Not really. Yeah, there's a little bracket in there. There it is. That little steel loop, that is for running a cable or a hose, and it is basically touching the head. So that's either going to have to get bent out of the way or cut off. Don't even know whether I'll be using it yet, for this engine to sit nicely, because the engine can't move down on this mount anymore. That's really kind of its full extent. However, this head is still loose, but if anything, this head is going to move up, because we're going to have a base gasket and a head gasket, which is going to add height, and that's going to be in the way, I think. So this frame is designed for this engine with these heads, so that's a bit of a strange one. That maybe it's just a reflection of the quality of this frame kit again. Who knows? Yeah, so it's coming together slowly, and yeah, just going to be waiting for bearings really next, until do a hell of a lot more. Steering head bearings really, so I can get the forks in, front wheel on, rear wheel's ready to go in, and then once I can get the engine off these stands, this brake tool can sit in the right position, which is in the hole that this bolt is in, because that's too much of an angle. It should be a bit more vertical, should be a bit more like that, or even probably more like that, which is the second hole forward. So that is where we are at the moment, and yeah, getting a little bit closer. What does Lola think? Not much.